for me as I did for him.
As a reward for his many years of service to LBJ, in 1961, Connally briefly served as Navy Secretary, but gave it up to run for governor, where he served from 1962 until 1969, his only elected office.
I stayed there 3 terms. I got elected 3 times. I think I could have been elected a 4th term, but I figured that I couldn't solve all the problems of Texas forever.
But after LBJ retired from politics, Connally was wooed by the other party. He served Richard Nixon as Treasury Secretary and switched from the Democratic Party to the GOP after LBJ's death in 1973. It was a decision that came back to haunt him when Connally tried for the White House in 1980.
Oh, I think it had some impact, sure. I think the Democrats were not happy about it. The Republicans felt like I hadn't been a Republican long enough to really deserve support, or some of them did.
Connally's loyalties were questioned. He was tied to big money interests. He was acquitted but tainted by charges that he accepted a bribe from the milk industry.
Thank you very much.
And after spending $12 million, he was only able to garner 1 lone delegate. He dropped out of the race, but not before solidifying his friendship with the ultimate winner, Ronald Reagan.
I knew when I announced that if Ronald Reagan announced, it was all over for the rest of us. I was appealing to exactly the same people he was appealing to.
John Connally also found it difficult to distance himself from his wheeler-dealer image, that of the consummate politician.
Most people in politics are just consumed by it. You know, it's a way of life with them. Never has been with me. I participated in it and dropped out. Participated and dropped out. I dip into it because I think I have a duty to do it. But it's not a consuming thing with me. It never has been.
Connally's fortunes fell on hard times again in 1987 when he filed for federal bankruptcy, emerging in 1988.
$3,000 to open it up, John. Who will say 4?
In the meantime, he had to auction off his personal assets to repay creditors for his crumbling real estate empire. But never a quitter, in May, just weeks before entering the hospital, he announced his last deal, a joint venture to build a $75 million horse racing track in Harris County. It should not have surprised anyone who knew John Connally.
I work hard. I'm always going to. I'm always going to try to be doing something different. I think that's the essence of life. Life is a never-ending series of educational experiences, and the more you do, the more different things you engage in, the more you learn, and that's what life is all about, and that's why I've engaged in so many activities throughout my life.
Connally will lie in state in the Texas House of Representatives, and a state funeral is planned for Thursday in Austin. As reaction pours into Connally's death, whether from Democrat or Republican, a common word is echoing tonight from Austin to Washington. That word? Leadership.
I'm going to miss him because he encouraged me. I'm going to miss him calling me on the phone, telling me what he thinks about this or that.
I made the decision to get into politics, got lots of advice, but John Connally's advice was important to me.
Former Senator, now Treasury Secretary Lloyd Bentsen called John Connally a man of courage with great leadership qualities, a powerful personality, and his friend. President Clinton remembered how Connally lived a life of service to his country, dedicated to the principles in which he believed.
It changed his life in many ways.
Longtime friend and former aide George Christian knew that politics wasn't everything for Connally. Christian says the Kennedy assassination changed that.
It made him realize that he didn't have much time on this earth, and he adjusted his life accordingly.
And it changed him politically as well, according to former Democratic National Committee Chairman John White.
And as a result of that, he became our first governor to seriously go about appointing minorities to boards, and important boards.
Former U.S. House Speaker Jim Wright, like Connally, was a Texas politician who rose to national prominence. But Wright says Connally dominated an entire era.
Always expressive, always articulate,